As planned, this is the first day of the 5 days MTP on deep neural networks and expert system. As per our schedule, the first day afternoon session will be a session that discusses about MATLAB software. So first of all, the MATLAB software is meant for scientific computing. It is neither a language nor a package. So it is a collection of some tools which facilitates engineers as well as researchers to conduct certain kind of research works very meaningfully and very easily. To understand this software, one has to understand the following points. First of all, you should know the environment of the MATLAB software, that is, what are the windows available and what are the features and facilities available in the MATLAB software. Then to start with the MATLAB software, you should understand some preliminary commands to work with the software. The power of this MATLAB is matrix. That's why it has the name Matrix Laboratory and its short name is MATLAB. So the most important part of this software is manipulation of matrix. That is how to create a matrix, how to do some kind of mathematical operations and analysis over matrix. That is the core and heart part of the presentation. Then I will teach you some sample MATLAB programs and inbuilt function as well as user defined function, how to plot graphs using this MATLAB software, and the main special feature of this MATLAB software is toolbox. We will see how toolbox is, and in subsequent days we will teach. I will teach neural network toolbox, fuzzy logic toolbox, deep learning toolbox, and optimization toolbox. But today we will see what is a toolbox and how to get into a toolbox. So finally, the session ends with a particular concept called simulating, particular feature called simulating. Development environment. MATLAB development environment. So the MATLAB development environment has many facilities, which includes programming facility, writing our own function, accessing the already available built-in function in terms of graphics, computation, and external interface. Moreover, the powerful facility available in the MATLAB software is Toolbox, using which we can do many engineering oriented tasks. If you look into the MATLAB software environment, there are three different windows available in the first screen of while you launch the MATLAB software. One is workspace and directory. Another one is command history. Another one is command window. So if you look at the workspace and directory window, so you can see whatever the files you are opening, whatever the files you are currently working with, all files are listed in the directory window. In the workspace window, currently you are working in one program or one project or one MATLAB file, and whatever the variables you are created in that project or program or workspace or file are listed as the workspace window. It may be a vector, it may be a matrix, or it may be any data structure that are listed in workspace window. And then command history window, and it is the window which lists out all the commands that you have executed so far from the starting of the session. It might be from the starting of your first MATLAB session or after you installed the MATLAB software. Then the window, command window is the one which is used to interact the MATLAB environment through some commands. Also, this window, you can get some output of the program where you are executed the program in a separate window, and the output can be seen in this window. Matrix manipulation. So, to understand matrix manipulation, first of all, you should know what is the basic fundamental unit of MATLAB. So, the basic fundamental unit of MATLAB is array. So, you know well, an array may be a single dimensional or multidimensional. If it is single dimensional, it is called as vector in the scientific context. If it is multidimensional, it is called as matrix in the matrix is array with more than one dimension. Our focus here is matrix. So when you are going to create any matrix using MATLAB software, you should imagine the matrix in terms of rows and columns. So row 1, it goes up to n number of rows. Likewise, column 1 it goes up to n number of columns. Rows are arranged in the horizontal manner and columns are arranged in the vertical manner. So whenever you want to access any element from the matrix, you should specify the matrix name within the bracket. You should specify the row number followed by the corresponding column number. This is the way you have to access any data in the MATLAB environment, provided if it is created as a matrix. Matrix and vector creation. To start with matrix manipulation, let us discuss about how to create a vector. As I said, vector is a one-dimensional array, and how to create a matrix, that is some two-dimensional array or n-dimensional array. So to create a vector, so first thing, the syntax is you should give a matrix name that is followed by an equal symbol and within square bracket. Remember, it should be within square bracket. First, you should give the first row elements, semicolon, then followed by the second row elements, semicolon, followed by third row element, semicolon, etc. up to nth row elements. The first row elements should be separated by a single white space. So this is the syntax of creating a matrix. Look at the example, how to create a 5x4 matrix. So A, that is the matrix name, that is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. Each element is separated by a space. At the end, you should give a semicolon. Then the second row element starts. Then the third row element starts. Likewise, you have to create a matrix using MATLAB software. Sir, where I can create a matrix? In the MATLAB command window itself, you can create a matrix, or in the MATLAB file window, you can create a matrix. Where I have to go to the MATLAB file window? It's very simple. In the MATLAB software, go to File, select New, and then it will lead to a window called MATLAB New, MATLAB file. So there also you can create a matrix by using this command. But there is a difference. In the MATLAB command window, if you type the if you type the command, then the command will be executed and you will get the output at the place. Whereas if you create this matrix in a file, then the file will be saved first, and then the saved file will have to be executed to see the output. Followed by how to create a vector. So vector name equal to within square bracket one row element. That is, it's a row vector. It is a B. Here in this example, B is a vector containing only one row. Then it is called row vector. Come to the third one, C. C equal to 25 followed by semicolon, 26 followed by semicolon, 27 followed by semicolon, then 28. It means that C is a vector containing only one column. That means C is a column vector. So how to access a single element from the matrix? First, you note out these kind of syntaxes and examples. Then I will go into the MATLAB environment. I will execute all these commands to make you familiar with the commands. So to access a single element from the matrix, that means imagine a matrix from which you have to access a single element. That is, in the previous slide, what is the matrix we have created? A 5 cross 4 matrix we have created. In that 5 cross 4 matrix, we have to choose a particular element. So what element we can choose here is, say for example, so this is available in the first row, and this is available in the second row, and this is available in the third row. Now, I want to access certain elements either in the row wise or in the column wise. In such a case, what I can do is, I just create a variable that is here, variable that is equal to the matrix name. Within bracket, I have to give the row number, comma, column number. That is, in the example, capital D is equal to capital A within bracket 3, 4. That means third row and the fourth element is accessed. So the third row, fourth element, if you could see here, what is the third row? 9, 10, 11, 12 is the third row. What is the fourth element? 12 is the fourth element. That fourth element will be taken from the matrix and assigned to a variable D. So here in this example, A is a matrix of size 5 cross 4. D is a singular, that means single value. If it is single value, then it is a singular. If it is one row value or one column value, then it is a vector. If it is a rows and columns value, then it is a matrix. So here D is a singular. From how this D is created? This D is created from a matrix A. What element is accessed from A? Third row, fourth element is accessed from A, and it is assigned to a variable D. Likewise, accessing a single row from a matrix. That is, I want to take a single row, entire row from a matrix, for which the syntax is, first you have to give a row vector name. You have to define a variable. That variable is row vector variable equal to what is the matrix that you are going to take. Within the bracket, you have to give row number. Row number is followed by starting column number and the ending column number. Here, see the example here, E equal to A of 2, 1:4. That means E is a row vector name that is going to have only vector in the row form. A is a matrix. A is a matrix. From the matrix, what is the element that is taken? Second row element is taken. And how many columns it is taken? 1:4. That means from the first column to fourth column it is taken. That is E equal to 5, 6, 7, 8. What is F? F is another row vector that is created from the matrix A. Here within bracket, what is given? 3. That is, third row element is given, followed by second column to third column. That is 10, 11. Accessing a single column from a matrix. Accordingly, in the likewise in the previous slide, we have accessed a single row. Similar to that, we can access a single column from the matrix, for which the syntax are column vector name. That is, you should give a variable name followed by equal symbol, then matrix name within bracket. See the difference here. Here starting row number, colon, ending row number, comma, column number. That is G equal to A of within bracket 1:4, 2. That is, one means the starting column, starting row number, that is first row, is 2. That is colon symbol means from this row to 4. That is ending row number, fourth row. That is first row to fourth row. All elements will be present in G, provided the column is second column. That is, from the A matrix, second column values are taken. The row elements are 1 to 4. So the values are 2, 6, 10, 14. Likewise, there is example H equal to capital A 2:3, 3. That means third column element, row elements are 2 and 3. Is taken from the matrix A and is assigned to H. Accessing a matrix from a matrix. So this is the most important command. That is, you are going to form a sub-matrix from a big matrix. That is, we have a matrix A of size 5 cross 4. From that matrix, you are going to create a matrix, sub-matrix, for which the syntax are new matrix name that is equal to matrix name within bracket, starting row number until ending row number, comma, starting column number is to ending column number. That is, if you look at the example, capital A is a 5 cross 4 matrix from which I looks the 1, 2, that is first 2 row, comma 3:4, that is third column and fourth column. So that is the idea here. So 1 and 2 row followed by 3 and 4 column are taken and it is assigned to variable I. So that is the thing here. Likewise, J, K, L, M, that are all accessed from the matrix A, and a new matrix is created. So I, J, K, L, M are submatrix formed from the matrix capital A by following the syntax of given above, that is accessing a matrix from a matrix. So there are other manipulation matrix available. That is, if I want to access only the second row elements, then I can use the syntax as capital N equal to capital A second row element, but all columns. Here the colon symbol signifies all. Whereas in this particular example, that is 1 colon 2. The colon meaning 1 to 2. That means 2 from this to that. But here colon represents all. Like this, what is O? O is equal to capital A, that is from matrix all rows, comma fourth column. I want to take all the row elements, but only the fourth column. So P equal to A of all rows, but the column is 2:4. What is Q equal to A of colon, comma colon, that is all rows and all columns are copied and assigned to Q. This command can be simply written as Q equal to A, because this is nothing but copy of one matrix to another matrix. The eighth matrix is copied directly to qth matrix. So you can give this way, or you can simply write Q equal to A. There are some inbuilt functions available, that is size of A, which gives the size of the matrix. Means it will give the row size. Size of A comma 2 will give the row size of column. And look at the command size of A, which returns the R1 as a row value, R2 as the column value. That is, if you within the square bracket R1, R2, that is equal to size of A. What it does is, size of A computes the size of the matrix and return the value of row to the variable R1 and return the value of column to the variable R2. Look at the next command, T equal to A transpose, which will create a transpose of the matrix A and assign to variable T. Look at the command U equal to zeros of 2, 4. It will create a matrix containing 2 rows and 4 columns, but the values are filled with only zeros. Look at the matrix ones of 2, 4, which will create a matrix of size of 2, 4, but all the values are filled with 1 and assigned to variable B. So before getting into the function, let me give few demos using this particular commands in the MATLAB software. Is it visible? The MATLAB screen is visible? So now I want to create a singular. To create a singular, here type A equal to 1. This means I am creating a singular A whose value is 1. So as I said, this is the directory window. This left side is the directory window. This window's middle is the command window, and this window is the workspace window. If you want to close any window, you can close it. If you want to open any window, you can close it. So by default, these 3 windows are available, or you can have some windows here, that is history window. So it is up to you to use n number of windows in the main screen. So but what are the 2 windows that are mainly required is command window as well as workspace window. Here I created A equal to 1. This A equal to 1 is a scalar. See, if you look at the workspace window, the variable A is created and its value is assigned 1. Likewise, now I am going to create a matrix B. B equal to 1 space 2 space 3 space 4 semicolon 5 space 6 space 7 space 8 semicolon 9, 10, 11, 12 semicolon 13, 14, 15, 16. See, I have created a 4 cross 4 matrix B, which consists of 1, 2, 3, 4 in the first row, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the second row, 9, 10, 11, 12 in the third row, 13, 14, 15, 16 in the fourth row. If I click here, if I press enter, I created a matrix of this form. So B is a 4 cross 4 matrix, which is of the form. Now I want to create a vector C. If I want to create a vector C, first I have to think whether it is a row vector or column vector. First, let me create a row vector. For creating a row vector, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give one row values. Each value is separated by a space. It means that I created a single row. So C is a row vector. Now create a column vector. D equal to. How to create a column vector? First give the first element, then don't forget to put the semicolon, then the second element, semicolon 7, semicolon 8. If I do like this, then I create a column vector D, which is filled with elements 5, 6, 7, 8. 5 is in the first row, 6 is in the second row, 7 is in the third row, 8 is in the fourth row, and all the 4 elements are in the first column. So this is called column vector. Now I want to do, I want to manipulate the matrix B. That is, I want to take a particular row from the matrix B and assign to a variable E. So now E equal to matrix B. I want to take a particular value. Say for example, I want to take the value 11. What is the position of 11? The 11 is available in the position third row. So B of 3. What is the position of 11 in terms of column? It is also 3. So if I took E equal to B of 3 comma 3, now E equal to 11. So E is a singular, but it is not assigned value. It is taken from the matrix B. Now consider F. Now I want to create a row vector. So first I have to mention F equal to B of I have to mention the row number. So I will give a third row number. Third row number, I want to take the element, second column element up to third column element. So that is, I am going to create a row vector 10 and 11. 10 and 11. Now I want to create a column vector G. So G equal to B of column vector. So if it is a column vector, first I have to mention third row to fourth column and the row value is 2. Then it means second column element it is taken. What is the elements available in the second column? What is the element available in the second column? 2, 6, 10, 14. And what is the row number I have mentioned? Third row. What is the element available in the third row? 10. So 10 and 14 are taken and it is assigned here. Now I want to access the submatrix. If you want to access the submatrix, F equal to B of, in the column I have to mention the row 1 is to 2. In the row I have to mention 3 is to 4. If I do so, the submatrix is now F is a matrix and it is treated as a submatrix created from the matrix B, which contains first 2 row elements and first, third and fourth column elements. It is a column elements 3, 4, 7, 8. Likewise, you need to access a matrix from a submatrix. Now I want to create a matrix which contain only 0. That means G equal to zeros of 2, 3. So what it does, 2 row and 3 column matrix will be created and all the elements are filled by 0. Now F G. I another matrix I equal to ones of 4, 5. That means a 4 cross 5 matrix is created. All are filled with ones. Now, if I want to create a transpose of a matrix, say for example, what is B? If I want to know the answer, just type B and press enter. B matrices. If I want to see a transpose of a matrix, J equal to B transpose. B transpose. Then what is meant by transpose? Rows are converted into columns and the columns are converted into rows. That is called. Now, if I want to see the size of the matrix, size of J So size of j will return row 4, column 4. So if I want to return only the row, then I have to type size of j, comma 1. It will return only the row number. Size of j, sorry, maybe b, another matrix b, comma 2. That means the column, number of column is taken. Now if I want to give row and column in a single vector means size of j, that is r value is 4 and a column, that is 4 row, 4 columns are there. Likewise you can do commands using this. There are many other commands are available. You can use the help and you can use other kind of help here is available. You can use those, or you can go for any you Google it, you can get any type of commands to understand for the MATLAB interaction environment. So let me stop the screen for a while and go to the MATLAB presentation. This is not the window I want to show. Just scan this. MATLAB programs and function. To illustrate the MATLAB programs, I have taken a 7 different version of writing a MATLAB program for the same problem, So to understand how to write MATLAB programs, I have chosen a problem of checking whether a person is eligible to vote or not according to his age. So look at the program. The first program version 1 is also eligibility to vote. Second version is also eligibility to vote. Third version is also eligibility to vote. Fourth version is also eligibility to vote. Fifth version is also eligibility to vote. Sixth version also eligibility to vote. But I am varying the each version by adding more by adding complexity to each versions. So look at the first version. So in the first version, it is what it is done here is just a variable is created, age equal to 20, and then with the help of simple if the age is checked whether it is greater than 18 or not. If it is greater than 18, then the message is displayed. Otherwise, put an end. Otherwise, no action is carried out. Just put an end. So in general, it is my personal practice to use CLC and clear all to start any program. If you see, for all the versions of MATLAB programs, I use the word CLC and clear all. What is CLC means? It is to clear the console. Clear the console. What is clear all means? It is to clear all the variables in the workspace window. I hope you understand the version 1. Look at the version 2. Version 2 accepts age and it uses if else statement. So first version is simple if. Second version is if else. If age is greater than 20, then display eligible to vote. Otherwise, display not eligible to vote. So consider the third version. So third version is just reading the age as an input from the user. So in the version 1 and the version 2, age is fixed as a variable and that value is constant throughout the program. Whereas in the third version, age is received from the user as an input. So this means whenever this version 3 is executed, it is always asking for the value of age. So you can enter any value to the age variable. So what is the variable that you entered? That variable is accepted as input and then the corresponding decision is carried out with the help of if else statement. Then coming to the fourth version. In the fourth version, age is created as a matrix. See, look at it. How to create a matrix? A variable equal, look at the third line of the fourth version. Age equal to square bracket 20, 18, something. That is one row. Semicolon. 25, 46 is that is third row. 11, 14, 12, that is third row. These three column matrix is created as age variable. Then with the help of two for loops, and inside the for loops, with the help of if else statement, the eligibility is checked. Eligibility is checked. So you know very well, as you are from computer science background, or if you are a if you have programming interest, or if you know programming, in such case of two-dimensional array, while we are using two for loops, the outer for loop is meant for columns, the inner for loop is meant for rows. So first the inner for loop is completed, then the outer for loop is executed. While executing the first inner loop, the eligibility of each row corresponding column is checked and the eligibility is created. The output of this particular version 4 is eligible. That is also a matrix. So eligible is a matrix which contains only y and n. Wherever y is there, wherever eligibility is there, y is there. Say for example, age 20. In the place of 20, in the matrix eligible, y is there. In the place of 18, in the matrix 80 eligible, y is there. In the place of 17, the matrix eligible, no is there. That is n is there. So likewise, the output will be printed for the version 4. Look at the fifth version. So fifth version is a little more complicated. Here we are loading the data with the help of the command load. So imagine an example. You are going to collect statistics of age of certain groups of people in a street. Assume that in a street contains 50 to 100 people. So you need to collect 50 to 100 people's age. You are storing the age of every people as a file. That file is stored as a age data file, and that data you are loaded into the MATLAB environment. So look at the third line of fifth version. The age data.m is loaded, and then the age data file is assigned to a variable age. Now, the age is a matrix which derives or which accepts the values from the file age data. So the line 3 and 4 are used as a line for creating the matrix of ages from a data file. What is the data file? Age data.m is a data file which contains ages of n number of people in a street. All these age are stored as a file and it is loaded into the environment, and then the data is stored or assigned to a matrix age. Now as usual, now what is age? Age is a matrix which consists of n number of ages arranged in the form of rows and columns from age data. Now with the help of the two for loops, you can create a output name eligible which contains y and no, for which eligibility y is there, for which no eligibility n is there. Next comes to the sixth version. Sixth version is the same program, but the concept applied here is the concept of subfunction. Here you need to write two files. One is main file, another one is sub file. So main duty of the main file is loading the age data, creating the age data as a age matrix, then passing the age matrix to a sub file compute. So now we have to write a compute as a subroutine. In MATLAB, writing a subroutine, that is writing a subfunction itself has some syntax. That is, it should be started with a keyword function. Within bracket, you should give the eligibility. Within bracket, you should give the return value. That is, what is the equal symbol. Then compute. That is the function name. Within bracket, the argument. So in the main function, the age, that is the actual, that is the formal argument, and it is the actual argument in terms of any programming language. So the age is accepted, and that age is assigned to a variable a. So here, then what is happening here? Age data is a file, age is a matrix, and this is with respect to main function is a formal argument. Then this formal argument is passed to a actual argument AG. Then this AG is assigned to a local variable A. So A, AG, AGE are one and the same, but the area differs. They are all matrix of containing ages assigned from the age data. Now, with respect to the same standard logic, with the help of two for loops, the age is calculated, the age is compared, and the eligibility is returned. So age. So see, look at it. There is no keyword written in MATLAB software similar to C language or any other programming languages. Here, whatever the variable that you have typed within the square bracket, it means that if you use this variable, then this variable is returned to the main program. So where is the last place the variable is written? This is the last place, or this might be the last place. At that moment, what is the value? That value is returned to the main program. So before proceeding into the plotting of graph, let me give sample output for all the 6 versions of this program. So I will return to the MATLAB programming environment after by stopping this presentation. I think the MATLAB screen window is now visible to you. So I already have the program file. So I will open that file directly. So I have single file o.m. See, for illustrative purpose, I wrote all the programs in a single file o.m with comment lines between them. With the comment lines for each and every statement. But normally you should not do like this. So what you should do is, you should, for writing a MATLAB program, what you should do is, you should open a new window, new file window, file, new script. See, don't forget, file, new, it is script. So you click the script, some window is open, see, untitled, some window is open. Here you want to type the program. So now let me type the first version of the program. So the first version of the program. So this is the first version. Let me remove the comment. Since I have already have a typed matter and comment. So then after typing the program like this, then you have to save the program. So save button is there, save the program. So like other language, there is no need to give any location or path like this. You can store it anywhere. For simplicity, I am storing in my in my pen drive where I have created your presentation. So here I am storing. So for understanding, I stored this file as OAuth1 since it is version 1, OAuth1.m. So now I am going to run this file. So I typed I opened a new file. I typed the program. I saved the file. After saving the file, now I have to execute the file. So to execute the file, here there is an icon run. Just click that icon, you get the output after changing the path. So eligible to vote. So see, all the variables that I have created before all get deleted. Why? Because I have used the command clear all. All the output that is CLC means clear command window. Clear all means clear the workspace variable. Now let me check the second version. So the second version, while saving, I am saving it as vote 2 and save. So here if I am running the program, so I am getting eligibility because the age is already assigned. Say for example, if I change the age to some value 16, now if I run the program, see, not eligible to vote. Called eligible to vote. So this is the second version. Now come to third version. So what is the third version? Third version is simply accepting the value from the user and then executing the script. So file, new script. Just I typed the code. Here I pasted, but in general I have to type the code. Then I make save the file. So I save the file as vote3.m. vote3.m. Now I am going to execute the file. So see here in the command prompt, it is prompting me by asking the age. Now I give the age as 56. So eligible to vote. If I want to run for another program, running. So age 38, it is giving age eligible to vote. Now I am running once again, age 3, not eligible to vote. I want to see for another person, eligible to vote 16 to vote. So running the program to see what is the program available. So now comes to the fourth version. So understand fourth version. So you have to copy this. So file, new script. In this window, you have to paste or you have to type. Just I need to run command. See what is the code here? What is the purpose of this fourth version? Here age is created as a matrix. So I have to use two for loops to check whether eligible to vote or not. After say, so this is the fourth version. So I save the file as vote 4.m. Just give vote 4. .m will be automatically taken. So now I have to run this script. See, eligible is a 3x3 character array. YNN, YYY, NNN. What is YYYNN? Because 20 is eligible, 18 is not eligible. Why? Because I make a program like you should be greater than 18, not equal to 18. In case if I put equal to 18 and run the program, that N is disappears. There is C YYN. YYN, it is coming like this. So this is the fourth version. This fourth version creates age as a matrix, and the eligibility is checked by the logic of using two for loops. One for loop checks the inner row column values, and the one for loop, the outer for loop will be for row values. Now go to the another fifth version. So version 5 is loading the age data. Loading the age data. So here I'm running this within the script, typing the code. So can get us commented. How the load age data is. See here, you have one question here. What is the question is how to create this age data. Age data to make you to understand how to create this age data. Let me stop this MATLAB session for a while and explain the data file for a few minutes and then come back to the MATLAB session. Now it is some kind of Excel file is seen in the screen, right? So this is the age data. Imagine that I went to a particular street. So this is the row 1 correspond to one street. This is correspond to another street. So totally 20 street I visited, and each street is having A, B up to J. That means 10 houses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 houses. See, imagine that 20 street I went, each street containing 10 houses. So each houses I have taken a age of one person who is the head of the family. Just imagine that. Just assume like that. Like that. So I have created the age data in this way. Then this age data, I can directly read this Excel file into the MATLAB environment, or what I can do is I can just copy this Excel sheet and then make a copy of this Excel sheet into the MATLAB environment as a M file. So I think you understand the data now. So let me stop this screen and I go to the MATLAB screen. So the age data already I have in the MATLAB environment. See age data.m. See all the age that is you seen in the Excel sheet is like here. This is very huge. This is very huge. So imagine a very big Excel sheet. So all ages are taken here. So totally 1000 street. It is, and I don't know how many rows. It is very huge. So this is the data. This data I have loaded as a .m file. So that .m file is loaded to the environment using the command load. Then the age data is assigned to the variable age. Then the age is a matrix. So if it is a matrix, then with the help of two for loops, within the two for loops, a simple if else can be needed to produce the output. So I am saving the file. So this is version 5. Sorry, port 5. Port 5. So I'm going to run this file. See how many years and how many nodes for all ages it is created. So what is the size of the row? So 1000 cross 100. That means 1000 street I visited. Each street 100 houses or maybe 20 houses are there. Each house 5 persons. Like that you can imagine. So this is the 5th version and finally the 6th version. So 6th version is the concept of having subfiles, that is subroutines. So the original code file. So here this one is going to compute. So 5th version is created. So this is file, that is a script file. I unlimited a file. Here you need one more file. Remember, while writing a subroutine, so this is very important because you are going to write a program for your research or for your any project. So your programs are not very simpler one. You should use the concept of files as well as you should use the concept of subroutine. So you should know how to create a subroutine. So this version, 6th version is you need to have two file. One is main file, another one is subroutine file. So this file is a main file. So the main file, as usual, did CLC clear all, load the age data, create the age data as a age matrix. Then with the subroutine compute is called. Compute is called by passing the argument age. So now you have to create a subroutine. To create a subroutine, you have to go file new. Remember, here there is a button called function. You have to create this function. Instead of clicking the script, you have to click function. You create a function, it will create a sample screen like this. Sample screen like this. So you can remove some unnecessary ideas. So just I need, what is the value? I need a value. I need a value. I need the statement that is to compute the age. Just I'm copying it. Just I'm copying it from my slide and I pasting it inside the subroutine. Subroutine, that is function. What is the output? Age. What is the output? It is, what is the return value? That is age. What is the function name? It should be compute. Should be compute. So what is the actual parameter? AG. AG. This is just a copy paste function. So I omitted it. I removed it. So accordingly, I removed the corresponding end also. The end also I removed it. So if you want a smart indent, then you can make a smart indent. Remember, Python always expects smart indent when MATLAB software doesn't require the smart intent. But for program clarity, if it is a smart intent, then it is easy to understand the lines of code. So what is did here? A function is created in the name compute. So with the return value LH. So it has an argument ag. The ag is the argument which accepts the age from the version 6. So ag is assigned to a local variable a. Now a is a matrix containing ages. Now with the help of the standard two for loops, with the help of simple if else, you can do the comparison operation and you can print the values s or y. So first I will save the main program. Main program I will save in any name. For and simplicity, I save the name as 6 because it is the 6th version. But please remember, please have a look, that is the subroutine should always be saved in the name. See, I didn't give any name, but it is automatically suggest compute. So the name of the subroutine should be the file name also. So compute is the subroutine name as well as the file name. So it is automatically asking compute. You don't change the name, keep the compute as the name of the subscript. It is already existing, no problem, because I have already have the file in my folder. So I'm just overwriting it. See, port 6.m is the main one, compute.m is the subroutine. So now what file I have to execute? As usual, I have to execute the main file, port.m. So if I execute, I will get the answer. Since the same age data is loaded, so the output is loaded like this. I hope you understand the MATLAB environment of programming. So programming the normal file and programming the subroutine file. So both have same way of typing, but the way in which you are entering the file name which following the certain syntax is different from the normal file with the function file. So you don't forget when you write subroutine, so it should be started with the keyword function. Within the square bracket, you have to give the return value, equal symbol, then the function name of the subroutine followed by argument. So with this, I stop the MATLAB screen and I will resume to the presentation for the next stages of MATLAB software, that is plotting graphs. Hope the screen is visible to you. Plotting graphs. So here also I have taken few examples. That is plotting graphs. I use the data called score data. See in the third line, score data. So with the help of the score data, I am going to show you how to plot graph using the MATLAB software. So then here also I have some versions. The first version plots a graph by default. That is by default it will display a graph with blue lines. And the second graph is a little modified version. It displays the line in red color and the line is also in the straight dotted form and each peak value is marked by star symbol. So this is the modified version of the default plot. And the third one, so two plots in a single graph. How to plot two lines, the single plot area. So for which I have taken the same score data. So in the fourth version, same plot area is divided into two quadrants. So what is the difference? In the single plot area, two lines are drawn, but here the plot area is divided into two and the plots are carried out in the individual plot area. So here the plot area is divided into row wise. There the plot area is divided into column wise. That is the difference between these two. Let me explain the program again. And this plot is meant for drawing the bar diagrams, and this plot is for plotting the bar diagrams in individual plot area. That is, plot area is divided into two row wise, and the plots is carried out. So this is the two. This is the different versions of plotting of graphs. Let me see the first one. So score data is loaded, and then the score data is assigned to a matrix score. Imagine the score data is created like that of age data, and then the age and then the score data is assigned to a matrix. Now score is a matrix. So for your understanding, let me stop this presentation and show you how the score data is. So to see how the score data looks like is, let us let us show you the data. So this is the score data. See, just it is created in an Excel with 3 columns. The first column corresponds to 20 column elements. The first column corresponds to 20 row elements. Imagine this is a 20-20 matrix, 20-20 match. B is the team 1, C is the team 2, A is the number of overs. Imagine A is number of overs, B is, say for example, score made by Indian team, C is score made by Pakistan team. Likewise, you imagine. So this is the 3 columns that I created artificially to make you to understand how to plot graph. So let me stop this. I hope you understand the data created for score. So let me stop this Excel sheet, and once again I resume to the presentation. So to plot a graph, so I said the score data is used. The score data is used. So score data, score is a matrix now. Score data is a data. This score data is loaded using the load command. Then the score data is assigned to score. That is, now the score is a matrix. What is the size of the score matrix? If you really understand the idea here, the score matrix consists of 20 rows, 3 columns. What are the 20 rows? First row is the first over, second row is the second over, accordingly 20 rows. What are the, why the 3 columns? First column is the number of over, second column is the score made by the India team, third column is the score made by the Pakistan or team 1, team 2, whatever it may be. So what I need, I want to plot for a single line. So that means I want the first column which says the number of overs. First over, how many runs? Second over, how many runs? So what is why it is score, comma 2. Look at the slide. Score, colon. What is colon here refers to? Colon means all. That means all rows I have to select. Comma 1. That means first column. First column is selected. That is, what is X? What is the value contained in X? X contains in the column manner 1, 2, etc. up to 20. What is Y? Y is a column. A is another column vector taken from the score matrix, which took all the row values, but only the second column. So the second column is nothing but T1 score. So now X and Y. Now with the help of the simple plot command, the two things are plotted, X and Y. Look at the plot. In the X-axis, number of overs is there, that is X. In the Y-axis, number of runs is there, that is for first over, how many runs? It is somewhere between 5 to 10. For second over, it is almost nearing to 10 runs. For the third over, it is just below 10 runs, like this. So I can label the X-axis by means of X label command and means of Y label command. X label and Y label. So I can give the title for the graph also. So if I do X label, number of overs here. If I did Y label, number of runs in the Y-axis. If I give title, details of score in the axis. So likewise here. So the above program is same here for the second program. But what we need here, look at the output. Both the outputs are same. But what is the change in the output? The line is in red color. The line is a dotted line, as well as the line peak value is marked by a star symbol, for which you need certain options. That is, in the first program, simple plot command is used. So in the second command, all the lines are common, all the lines are same, except inside the plot, see plot x comma y comma within single quote or asterisk symbol is used to mark the peak value, and dash dot is used. What is dash dot? It is a dotted line. Instead of continuous line, it is a dotted line to signify that it is used. So if you give this style option, this kind of style option inside the plot command, then you will get such kind of style instead of the default style. Let me go to the third one. So here I am going to draw two lines in the same window. That is, first score is Indian score, and the second red color is Indian team score. That is team 1 score. And the block line is by team 2 score in the Pakistan team score. So here SCLC clear all load score data equal to variable x, y is a 3 variables are used. X equal to score, y equal to score of colon comma 1 2. So that is x is number of overs, that is first column. Y took the second column of the data, Z took the third column of the data. So now how to plot? First plot the graph between x and y. Then plot the graph between y and z. For two individual plot, use the hold on command. Look at here, plot is used two times. First plot is meant for drawing a red color line. Second plot is meant for drawing a black color line, that is K. So for each plot, you have to use the hold on. If you use the hold on, first plot line is drawn. For a simple hold on, the second plot is drawn after that. So this is the way you need to plot two different lines in a single plot area. Now come to the third version. In the third version, the plot area is divided into two. See, CLC, clear all, load, score, X, Y, Z. All are common in the, like similar to the previous program. What is the difference? Before doing the plot, you should divide the plot into two components, for which what is the command you are using? Subplot. What is the command I am using? Subplot. Subplot is the command that is used, and this command will divide the plot area into two columns, that is 1, 2, 1. What is the meaning of this 1, 2, 1 is plot area is 1, that is divided into 2 in that the first row. In that the first column. Here there you have to plot the Indian team score. Likewise, subplot is done by dividing the subplot area into 2 in that second column, where the Pakistan team's score is displayed. So this is the way in which the plot area is divided into two plots with the help of the command subplot. Once the first plot is over, then you use hold on, then the second subplot is created, and then the second plot is drawn in the plotted area. I hope you understand the idea here. Likewise, the fourth version is the same to the third version, only changes in what way the subplot is used. Look at the subplot command. The subplot command is 2 rows. I want to create it in 2 rows. In that first row, first column. So here also, I want to create the plot into 2 rows. In that first row, second column. Like that, I have to mention it, and then I do the corresponding lines. So this is the way you need to plot the graphs. So here the graph plotted area is divided into 2 halves, the top one half, the bottom one half. So last one, that is bar diagram. So bar diagram is very simple. You can create use the command bar, for which you need a matrix of data, that is x equal to score of colon, 2, 3. See, for the single line plot, you need a vector of data, that is x, y, z, all are vector, that is all are column vector. For drawing a bar graph, you need a matrix. That is, from the score matrix, I created a submatrix. What is the size of a score matrix? It is 20 cross 3. 20 rows, 3 columns are there. From which I am creating a variable x. And that variable x contains 2 columns and 20 rows. So that's why inside look at the command score within bracket all columns, 2:3. That means second row and third columns. So that value is taken and the bar diagram is drawn to give this kind of diagram. So here the same diagram, but it is plotted in 2 different subplots. The same idea. Before drawing the plot, you have to divide the subplot. Look at the line here. Second program, that is for this output. Look at the line CLC, clear all, load, score, X. Look at the command subplot. So you use the subplot command, divide the subplot into 2 rows. In that first row, first column. Likewise, divide the subplot into 2 rows, first row, second column. So likewise, you have to mention the subplot position or subplot location, and then you do the plot. So this is the way you need to do the plotting of graphs using the MATLAB programming environment. Still more graphs are available. For basic understanding, this is sufficient. If you want to know further, you can Google it, or you can take the direct help from the MATLAB software. I don't want to give demo for this graph because as we are running out of time, I think it is easy for you. If I share this presentation to you, just to copy it and paste it in the MATLAB environment to see the graph. Only thing you need is score data. That score data also I will share it to you. You can use it and you can do it on your own. Next, coming to the main part, that is MATLAB toolbars. So MATLAB toolbars is similar to library function. That is, in C programming, you use a command hash include gone.io.h, studio.h, that h file. How much important header file to C, how much important header file to C++, how much important package with the, in Java we use the keyword import. Toolbox is more important for nowadays. In the recent version of MATLAB software, no toolbox word is used instead of the word toolbox, because toolbox something look kind of tools, that means it is related to some kind of machineries or mechanical workshop. So with the modern trend, the latest MATLAB software uses the word each app its own purpose, and each app can do certain engineering task or solve certain research problems. So for your simplicity, I have taken mathematics toolbox, commerce toolbox, and toolbox for computer science. So what we are going to see in this FDP is, we are going to see neural network toolbox, we are going to see physiologic toolbox, and we are going to see optimization toolbox, and most importantly, we are going to see deep learning toolbox to run our programs, or to run our to find a solution to our problems. So nothing more than this in terms of toolbox. We can see in depth in neural network toolbox and physiologic toolbox. Let me go into the next slide for 5, that is MATLAB Simulink. So MATLAB Simulink is used by very few people, that is electronics people, electrical people, or some kind of power engineer, power system people, by means of which you can model any system, any dynamical system, or any mathematical system like this, and you can code that system. Or model with the help of this Simulink facility available in the MATLAB. So I'm not going to touch this Simulink in depth, because this is not the scope of our FDP. So these are all some kind of references you can use for understanding the MATLAB. So I think, do you have any question? So if you have any question, you can ask by raising your hands. I am here to clear your doubts or any query. Participants, with this I come to close of the session. Yes. Uma Jyoti, can you please raise your question?
Sir, Uma Jyoti is having some.
Sir, this is Uma from Hindustan College of Engineering and Technology,
Yes,
sir.
ma'am. Yes, please tell me, ma'am, what can I do for you?
Sir, no, I understood well what about this MATLAB and how to code in it is. It is
Yes,
very.
ma'am. Thank you.
Then the same concept can be adopted for cloud computing resource scheduling, sir. As because I am doing scheduling for resources.
Yeah. You can. Because I already said that MATLAB is a programming environment.
Yeah.
So MATLAB is a programming environment. It can accept any algorithms if you want to change the algorithm into a program.
Because my concept is the number of tasks, time, cost, everything I can embed in Excel. The data can be embedded in Excel, and that data can be imported to MATLAB, and that can be done. That can be simulated.
Sure. Ma'am, for your kind information, in the year 2014,
yes,
in the year 2012, I have one MTech student. He worked in a kind of problem called flow scheduling, workshop.
Okay, sir.
Workflow scheduling.
Okay.
Workflow scheduling.
Okay.
He collected data related to that, and he used artificial, ant colony optimization algorithm.
Yeah, ABC.
So I developed that ant colony optimization algorithm, and he used that algorithm, and he coded in MATLAB software and find the optimal scheduling for the workflow.
Okay,
And
okay,
we
sir.
have
Okay.
come out with a paper, and that paper is published in a conference in Dr. MGR University, and that paper got best paper award also.
Okay, okay,
So
okay.
it is
Fine, sir.
easier, ma'am. It is easier. So you
Okay.
cannot done real time in the previous version of MATLAB software, but now the current version of MATLAB software is easily supporting all the plug and play support.
Okay, 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 sir. Okay,
Only
that
thing you
suits
have
my
to
doubt.
explore
Okay,
the
thank you so
particular
much.
facility, whether it is available in the version or not.
Okay, sir. I will look into it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Your session was very fantastic, sir. Nice explanation. It was very easy to understand. Simple example, but easily understood by everyone, I guess. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for
Thank
your
you, sir. Bye,
compliment.
sir. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, Manjula. Yes, Ms.
Sir,
Manjula, can you?
Sir, I have one doubt. You have stored data in Excel file, age data, right, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, how it can be loaded in MATLAB, sir? Load age data.m. How it
What
can?
I did is, this is a simple example. What I did is just to copy the data in Excel file and
Okay,
paste
sir.
it in the MATLAB environment.
Okay, sir. Okay,
So
sir.
I go to File,
Okay, sir.
New, Script.
Okay.
After the script window is open,
Okay,
then
sir.
copy the data in the Excel and just paste it in the data in the MATLAB environment.
MATLAB.
This is a very simpler task.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
But
Thank you,
there are commands are available in
Okay.
MATLAB software which
Okay.
directly access the Excel file. Say for example, if your Excel file is very large enough,
Yes.
then that entire record of Excel data cannot be loaded into the MATLAB environment.
Okay, okay.
In that case, you can directly load the Excel sheet into the MATLAB environment. There are some commands are available.
Okay, sir.
You
Okay,
just
sir.
Google it, how to import Excel file into MATLAB environment. It will give some commands. You can use this.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Also, you can import .csv file into MATLAB environment. .csv file, comma
Okay.
file.
CSV file, right. Okay.
CSV file.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Import facilities are available. Just you have to explore.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
So, is there any question? Any other participants to ask question? If you are interested, please raise your hands. I will wait for another 2 minutes. Yes. Yes, Sivapriya, tell me. Hello? Hello?
Sir, kindly unmute.
Hello, sir.
Hello?
It is audible now.
Yeah, yes, audible, ma'am. Tell me, ma'am, what can I do for you?
Sir, how to use MATLAB in cloud-based environment?
Ma'am, there are some interfaces available.
Okay, sir.
There are. I didn't touch upon that, but because my specialization was not into that. But I heard that there are some interfaces are available. Using such interface, you can go for some kind of cloud-based environment with the MATLAB software. But what we did is, we just collected the data from the simulated cloud environment, and that simulated cloud environment data is used in the offline mode in the MATLAB environment for scheduling.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So we didn't carried out any what is that inline computing. But because we did that experiment in the year 2012, but nowadays I heard that the latest version of MATLAB software is having wonderful facility where which you can bring the MATLAB into the cloud environment or any other even big data environment is also supporting the MATLAB software.
Okay, sir.
I heard that, but I never used that. I think you can Google it and you can use it if possible.
Sure, sir. Sure.
Because I am specialized in algorithm development. If you ask me how to write neural network, how to write fuzzy logic, and how to write deep neural network, I can answer. But this kind of plug and play, I am not working on it since I have not explored it. I am not much having experience in this.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Your session is very nice, sir. It's very much informative.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So with this, I think there is no time. We are already running out of the time. So thank you, participant. Thank you for your patient listening. With this, I ask the organizer to say few words for the participants for tomorrow's session. Sir,
Okay,
please.
sir. Okay, sir.
If
Thank
you
you, sir.
have any information to the participant, you please share to the participants.
Okay, sir. Your presentation were excellent, sir. All the participants were appreciated.
Thank you, sir.
And for all the
Thank you,
participants,
sir.
those who are not joining the WhatsApp group yet, kindly join. Also, we are going to provide the link for tomorrow's meeting through mail and also through WhatsApp group. All the participants should join tomorrow at 10:15 a.m. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Can I leave
Thank
the
you.
meeting now?
Sir, sorry.
Shall we leave the meeting now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Ananda.